Hey guys, it's Bruce here. I am in Las Vegas and I've just spent the weekend at the Wealth Dynamics Seminar, and today I have such an exciting interview for you. I'm here with a new friend, somebody I met this weekend, who I think is going to become a very good friend in the future, and his name is Matt Mouris. And before I introduce you to Matt, I want to tell you a little bit about who this man is. Matt has a company called Success University. He is a self-made multi-millionaire, and his company teaches personal development through the internet. And they are the biggest personal development website in the world. They have gathered over 100,000 members in the last 3 years. They are in over 180 countries around the world and have some of the world's top personal development speakers, over 150 of them, myself included, in their portfolio of personal development education. And I asked Matt if he wouldn't mind coming down here and just sharing a little bit about his life, his story, how he became so successful, how he made his millions, and what his company does and the difference that it makes in the world. So get ready for some real kick-ass information. This man really knows his stuff. Matt, welcome. Thank you for being here, and it's a real honor for me to have you interview. Thanks for giving me the time.
Honored to be here.
Alrighty.
Excited about it.
Awesome. So I thought I'd start off by getting you to share a little bit about your background. You were telling me a bit about an interesting story of living in your car.
Sure,
and I kind of got intrigued, and how you came to find your success.
Sure. Well, I, like a lot of people, got excited about becoming an entrepreneur when I was actually 18 and in college, sitting through class, and it's funny. All my professors were talking about, how to get these great jobs and, how to get advanced degrees and really get to the top of the corporate ladder, and it just never resonated with me. I was never excited about having a job. Always wanted to be an entrepreneur and things like that. So decided to jump out, become an entrepreneur, and didn't know anything about business, didn't know anything about success and all of these things, just totally ignorant, and but motivated.
Being there.
Yeah, very motivated. But so what happened was, from age 18 to age 21, I kind of reinvented my life. I talk about this reinvention concept, and but my life reinvented from being in college to living out of my car. At 21, being homeless, could afford to stay in a motel 1 or 2 nights a week if I was lucky.
So and you would drive around, sleep in your car 5 nights a week, and 2 nights a week you'd spend your money on a motel.
Yeah, I'd find the cheapest motel I could find. Always, just the lowest end, and I'd stay there. Now the rest of the time, you can, if you're staying in a motel 1 or 2 nights a week, you have a bathing problem, right? So the rest of the time I would bathe in gas station bathrooms. I'd find these bathrooms that would lock from the inside, and so I'd go in, lock the door, take off all my clothes, get my bar soap, and splash water up in the sink, and that's how I'd take my baths. I'd leave, and the poor janitor, whoever had to clean it up afterwards, there's water everywhere. But so that was kind of how I lived. I was selling above ground swimming pools in southern Louisiana. It was the 2 hottest months out of the year, and just sweltering heat and all these things. I learned that you had to park underneath a tree, otherwise when you woke up in the morning, your car, you'd bake in your car. So if anyone knows tips to being homeless,
there's a book in there, Tips to Being Homeless.
Tips to Being Homeless. Yeah, someone just gave me another book title, and that's kind of the next, I'll get into that in a second. But so it was kind of my version of rock bottom, I guess, living out of the car. And it's funny because one night I had an appointment on the other side of the state. And so I drove, it was late, I pull in and looking for a bathroom because it had been a day or two since I'd taken my my little bath, and pull into this town and there's no gas station and no motel. A little bitty town, maybe 1 stoplight in the whole town, that kind of thing. And so I said, well, I'll just wait till tomorrow. I pulled into a church parking lot, and for some reason I always felt safer when I was in a church parking lot than anywhere else. And so I'm laying there and trying to sleep, and I can't sleep because I can smell myself. It's been a couple days, right?
Wow.
So it's raining, raining cats and dogs outside. So I said, well, why not just shower in the rain? So I took off all my clothes. I went out in the middle of the parking lot and
showered freestyle.
And if you ever showered in the rain?
No, never.
You never have. Well, even if it's pouring down rain, it takes a long time, right? Because you don't have the concentration of water. So I look over in the top of the roof of the church, the the runoff
Water is coming off.
is coming down. And I said, oh wow, great idea. So I went and showered underneath the runoff and got into my car that night, and I just thought, wow, how have I gotten this low in my life where I'm $30,000 in debt. I'm living out of my car, selling above ground swimming pools, bathing in gas station bathrooms, and showering naked in the rain. And so that was kind of my wake up call. And someone had given me a cassette tape. I'm sure we probably all know Tony Robbins, right?
Totally.
And this Tony Robbins cassette tape that I listened to, and it's funny, I had listened to the cassette tape before, and I guess it just went in one ear and out the other. It never made a big impact. But I listened to it again that night with kind of a new set of ears because I was hungry. I was ready for something to change and committed to making something change in my life. So I listened intensely to that program, and Tony talked about 2 strategies that he used to achieve success, and I related to his story because his story was that he went from living out of a 400 square foot apartment, washing his dishes in the bathtub, to becoming a millionaire, and he did that in like 12 months. He made over $1 million in a year. And so I said, well, I want to do that. So I said, well, how did he do it? And he talked about 2 concepts, and the first thing he talked about was immersing himself in personal development. He read over 700 books, anything he could get his hands on relating to, how the mind worked, human communications, NLP, things like that. And, I said, okay, well, that's a clue, right? Okay. He learned, he just studied success. And then his other concept was modeling. Is basically if you want to achieve success, find someone else who's done it, figure out how they did it, do the same thing, and you'll get the same results. Totally. And so I said, well, at the time I had no vehicle. I had nothing like Success University to plug into and make money with. So because I had no vehicle, I said, well, the least I can do is immerse myself in personal development. So I would spend about 8 hours a day reading books. I'd practically live at Barnes & Noble. Anytime I wasn't on an appointment, I was reading.
That's a bookstore for those of you who don't have Barnes & Noble.
All right, sorry about that.
No.
And then I would, kind of turn my car into drive time university. So I'd be listening to audio programs all the time. So I just turned off the radio and listened to audio programs. And what happened was I kind of reinvented my life. I believe in life we're either spiraling upward or we're spiraling downward. We never stay in the same place. And so the best way that I've ever found to spiral upward, to grow, is through success education. And so I started reading all these books, Think and Grow Rich, and How to Win Friends and Influence People, and books on public speaking and NLP and wealth creation and all these things. And so what happened was it's interesting, I've never had these huge, overnight successes. For me, it's always been a very gradual process. So from age 21 to 24, went from $30,000 in debt, living out of my car, to $100,000 a year, well over $100,000 a year, being an entrepreneur, traveling around the world. In just a few years. And so that's when I actually came up with the whole concept of reinventing your life. I read this article called What the Cell is Going On. And it talked about how every molecule, every cell in the human body regenerates itself every 7 years.
Yeah, so you got a new body every 7 years.
You have a new body every 7 years. And so I said, wow, if your body can regenerate itself, you can surely reinvent the level of success that you have in your life. So I said at that point, I'm going to reinvent myself again, and become a millionaire was my goal. So from age 24 to 29, became a self-made millionaire.
Did I tell you what my company's called? Designer
Life. Oh yeah, that's
life.
right. Yeah,
it's all
Designer
about
Life.
creating a life by design. It's actually exactly the concept you talk about. Exactly what I teach. Yeah. Anyway, carry on. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. So no, I mean that's kind of the story of I'm definitely in a reinvention process now, and I think we're all in a reinvention process. We're going to reinvent our life somehow. Yeah. And if we're not, we're reinventing it downwards. If we're not reinventing it up, we're reinventing it downwards in some way, which so often means repeating the past. And one of my favorite sayings with people is like, most people go through life repeating the past over and over and over again, and then the next thing they do is they die. And unless you're actually reinventing your life, chances are you're going to just be repeating the past. Well, that's awesome. The thing I talk about all the time is everyone says they want success. We all desire to have more success in life, but I also talk about the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. It's just not going to happen. And so many people, and this is really what Success University is all about, is people are caught in this rut of life and they don't get out. And what happens is, because they never take this action, and it does sometimes take a bit of massive action to get yourself out of the rut.
Totally.
And people stay in the rut. They end up, what I call it, tiptoeing through life quietly so they can arrive at their grave safely. And it's a sad that, when there is opportunity, if success is possible, if it's possible and you don't do it, you're choosing to fail.